Hey yo, it's Brian here. Today talking about the San Francisco 49ers. As always, doing another podcast out for you guys. You know what? Maybe in the next month or two, I should launch my own podcast, just talking about the 49ers, talking about the NFL in general, just talking about anything in life. I did kind of start on my second channel, but I don't know. I just got to find the right podcast partner for it, because although you could do it by yourself, I think it's more fun to do it with somebody else that you know personally, or maybe with a stranger. So maybe in the next month or two, I can do a podcast just talking about any random stuff, because I do like talking, right? Anyways, talking about the NFL draft, it is happening this Thursday all the way till Saturday. The first round is going to be on Thursday. Friday will be rounds 2 and 3, and then the last couple of rounds from 4 through 7 will be day 3 on Saturday. I'm excited. Just going to be talking about the draft in general. Why I love this time of the year, and it should be a fun time. Should be a lot of crazy stuff going on, especially now with everybody. All the war rooms are going to be in virtual world. It's not going to be in the same room like in the NFL draft usually is for the past couple of years. It's all going to be on computer and telemonitors for all the guys. All the executives have to stay home by themselves pretty much and try to telecommunicate, which hopefully they know how to do. Anyways, it's going to get the video started, but before I do, please like and subscribe. That definitely helps me out a lot. Click that bell notification to get notified of future videos. Yes, that is important, because YouTube, for whatever reason, sometimes doesn't want to alert you guys that I have new videos coming out, so please do that as much as possible. That would be awesome. I'm going to get the video started. Let's do it. 49ers NFL draft. I'm excited for this. And yeah, that's kind of a weird name, kind of a boring name to do it, but I really am excited for the draft. All right, so talking about the couple of days of the draft, as you all know, the biggest story is the first round, the 13th overall pick, the 31st overall pick. I've been hyping it up quite a bit now for the past couple of weeks. There could be a lot of intrigue going on. They might do a couple of swerves. I think that'll be interesting as well. But the thing that I believe the 49ers are going to be doing, I think a lot of you guys are in consensus of, is that they'll pick somebody with 13th overall pick, whether it's a defensive tackle, wide receiver, even an offensive tackle to replace Joe Staley, just anybody. With that pick, at the 13th overall pick, they're going to pick a player, and then the 31st overall pick, they can trade down and get some more assets, because one of those picks they're gonna have to get traded down some way, shape, or form. Because if they don't, then after the first round, we don't have a day 2 pick. All we have to do is have a day 3 with rounds 5 through 7, which I don't know. That's not really safe. That's not really awesome to do, but if the 49ers are feeling comfortable, then they can do only rounds 5 through 7 with no rounds 2 through 4 pick. But I believe the 49ers, as we all know, they're going to be using that 31st overall pick and trading it down, most likely. If not, they can trade some players. There's been some rumors for the past couple of hours now, as of this video, talking about Quan Alexander, D Ford might be in the trading block, which I don't really believe it, but that is on the rumor mill if they want to do that. I mean, the only way they could trade these guys if they get some ransom money, like ransom draft pick, maybe with the Houston Texans, because Bill O'Brien has been doing an awesome job as a general manager, trading away players, getting players, and not getting the fair value that they deserve. Like DeAndre Hopkins, I believe that she should have gotten a first round pick for the Texans, but Billy O'Brien got David Johnson, I think a second round pick, which was kind of disappointing. Unless David Johnson is the David Johnson we seen him for the past couple of years as a division rival in Arizona, it's not going to be a good trade, but it is what it is. I mean, when you have a guy like a coach beat a general manager, it doesn't usually work out. The only people that's worked out so far is Pete Carroll in Seattle and Bill Belichick of New England. Other than that, everybody else has failed for the most part being a coach and GM. We've seen this in the past too with our previous coach, Chip Kelly. He wasn't the general manager of our team, but he was the general manager of the Philadelphia Eagles when he became the first-time NFL head coach from Oregon. It definitely did not work out. He got rid of a lot of players. He gutted the whole roster in his second year as the Eagles general manager. Didn't work out, and he ended up getting fired, and Howie Roseman got his job back as the official general manager of the Eagles, and they won a Super Bowl. So there you have it right there. Don't trust coaches to be general managers too much unless they know everything about the draft and they want to be part of that draft process. I'm pretty sure Kyle Shanahan, that he does not care about that. I think he publicly stated that he just only cares about developing players with whoever players he has and making them the best player possible. He doesn't really care about picking players, so he lets his general manager, John Lynch, do everything, and that's how it should supposed to be for the most part. Kyle Shanahan could probably have some input on what players he likes, what he wants, but for the most part, Lynch, he handles all the draft and free agency process, and Shanahan, I think he has the final 53 roster say on who he wants for week 1. So, you know, that's really how it should be for the most part. But you get the rare exceptions like Carroll and Belichick that could do both. But for the most part, I think coach and general manager, they should be a separate thing. But you want to have a good tandem because, you know, you don't want a tenuous or what do you want to call it, backfire general manager coach tandem like Jim Harbaugh and Trent Baalke. That's not a good idea, and that ended up didn't work out. They fired the wrong guy. They fired the coach first, and then they fired the general manager. But I'm pretty sure York learned his lesson. Baalke, he tried his best in San Francisco. We could kind of understand where he was going from the 49ers from his perspective, because the team was really good. But I think the problem with Baalke was he was a little too reliant on the starters, and he drafted too many injured players. He took way too many risks on getting a lot of guys like Tank Carradine, a couple of other guys as well that were injury riddled from college and going to the NFL and having like a farm system, essentially develop them for like a year or two, and then they'll be great starters. But unfortunately, that didn't work out. That kind of backfired, and I think that's part of the reason why his tenure didn't go well in San Francisco. He did make some other dubious picks like A.J. Jenkins. That was one of the worst picks in 49er history, in my opinion, because at least of the other bust guys, I mean, you want to call Solomon Thomas a bust, at least he was able to play and contribute a little bit to the 49ers. Jenkins, he did absolutely nothing. 0 catches, 0 yards, 0 touchdown for the 49ers, and then he went to Andy Reid in Kansas City. He might have had like 1 catch for like 4 yards or something like that. Other than that, that was probably the worst pick in 49er history, in my opinion. I think I did a top 3 video last year talking about this. There's just been a lot of wonky picks for the 49ers, but hey, it is what it is. Everyone's not going to be hitting home in the draft all the time. But John Lynch, looking at it right now, I believe he will be doing a great job in this draft. I mean, 2 first-rounders, that is a surefire way to load up your roster even more, especially with getting rookie contracts. I think that's the way you have to do it now in today's NFL, is draft guys, get them on the rookie contracts for 3 or 4 years, and then you have to pay up a lot of money. Unfortunately, that's the way it is with salary cap. And usually it's only a 1-year dynasty. So the Kansas City Chiefs, although they beat us in the Super Bowl, do I expect them to repeat? I don't know. It's pretty difficult. They could, because New England, they're not really in the picture as much as they were years ago. I think they're still going to be contenders, but they won't be the juggernaut they were for the past couple of years when they were winning Super Bowls. But Kansas City, they have a good chance of repeating, but it's going to be very difficult now in today's NFL. But the thing is, they kept most of their rosters, which is pretty interesting. The 49ers, we kept about 17 or 18 of our 22 starters in the Super Bowl. A couple of guys that got released, a couple of guys that got traded. So for the most part, the 49ers, they did a really good job on keeping their core guys as much as possible, and that's a good thing. Another guy that's on a rumored list of getting traded potentially on draft day is Jaquiski Tartt. Would I be intrigued? Yeah, probably. I mean, he can offer maybe like a 3rd or a 4th rounder. I think he's a really talented guy. He does have a little bit of injury history, so any team that are going to be trading for him, you do have to take into account that. But a talented guy, a guy that's made a lot of plays, definitely he's a guy for that. And my favorite play from him is definitely the fumble from DK Metcalf on Monday Night Football, and I think it was like a touchback or something like that. That was awesome, what he did on that game against Seattle, although we lost that game. But, he did a great job, and he's a big part of our defense now in 2019. If he is here in 2020, which I believe he will be with Jimmy Ward, they're going to do great in 2020. So the draft, I mean, my favorite time of the year, because I like to see the college players go from wherever college they came from to the NFL and see if they're really good pro players, because a lot of players that are top 10 picks, whatever top picks in the draft, I love to see if they can live up to the expectations. Some do, some don't, but it's interesting to see what they do, and it's interesting to see what the 49ers and other teams do, seeing like what players they draft, their reasoning, their needs, and then a couple of years later see if it really worked out. For the most part, in John Lynch's tenure, I think it's worked out for the most part. I mean, 2017, I thought that was a little bit of a dud, but you have to give him a break now, because that was his first draft ever. He was experimenting stuff. He took a little bit of risk, like a guy like Reuben Foster, who was having off-the-field issues and even combine issues coming into the draft, and now he's not with us in San Francisco. In terms of picking a player, hands down, that was a great pick, but in terms of off-the-field issues being gone really quickly, it didn't work out as well. He has a lot of nice gems in the late round picks. I mean, I always keep mentioning this. I think this makes up a mark of a great general manager. He's picked a lot of players from rounds 4 through 7. He's found a lot of value within it. I mean, I'm going to name a couple of guys now, like Dre Greenlaw. Last year, you got Justin School, even last year, replacing Joe Staley for a little bit when he got injured. Yeah, he got a little bit banged up in terms of getting beaten out by other defensive players, but at the same time, I thought he was a great filling guy for Staley when he was out. Other guys you can look forward to, especially George Kittle. I mean, that was like his first low draft pick. That was a big success. He did a really great job at that. Him and his team, Martin Mayhew and everybody under him, I think they've done a great job so far. Other guys you can look forward to is like Marcel Harris. I think he's a pretty decent player, and if Jaquiski Tartt for some reason gets traded or whatever, if he wants to be the starting strong safety for the 49ers, I think he can be. He's just got to be working on his tackling skills, because he's a very physical guy. It's just, can he tackle? And he's not really the best at that. Other guys, Richie James, he can contribute to the receiving game and contribute to the return game as well, although he should be scoring some more touchdowns. I don't think he scored a touchdown yet for the 49ers in 2019. He did in 2018 against Seattle, but other than that, he did get some long yards, but hopefully he can score some more touchdowns coming in. And they might have some competition between him and Dante Pettis coming into the season, so that's another thing to look forward to. But really, the big guy, definitely George Kittle. Trent Taylor, he could be a nice pick if he can stay healthy. DJ Jones, he's been a great player for us in San Francisco, 6th-round pick in 2017. So yeah, some low draft picks. I am excited to see what he does with them. For the most part, a lot of players, a lot of people, including myself, would kind of discount rounds 4 through 7. They'll probably get cut eventually, but for the most part, Lynch has kept most of these players, or Shanahan, I should say, kept most of these players come week 1. They contributed really well. The depth of the 49ers is awesome. You got to attribute that to a lot to the front office for picking the players that fit right in their system. So it's just an awesome thing to see. 2020, I expect the same thing. I expect players to contribute right away, whether they're from the 1st round all the way into the 7th round. Even undrafted players, you look at Matt Breida, Nick Mullins, Kendrick Bourne, they're all undrafted players. They have contributed really well for the 49ers. You got to give them a lot of credit for that. Free agency, he hit home with D Ford and Quan Alexander for the most part. You had some busts like Jared McKinnon from the Minnesota Vikings when he came along. Also, Pierre Garçon, that was a little bit of a bust as well. But, free agency is a lot of hit and miss. You better hope that they can stay healthy and be worth that money that you're about to be paying for in the long term. But for the most part, even then, you look at the contracts, it's very upfront guaranteed for the first year or two. And then after that, it's an option if they want to keep him or not. So that's a little fail-safe in case the play doesn't really work out. And that's a good motivation for the player to do really well. Like D Ford, he's been a little bit injury riddled, I would say. Even his time in Kansas City when he got drafted there, when he came to San Francisco, he did have a little tendonitis problems. He surprisingly didn't get surgery for whatever reason, but whatever. But he needs to stay healthy as much as possible, be productive as much as possible, so we can keep getting those option deals and getting paid a lot more money, because you can get paid a lot of money in San Francisco. You got a 5-year, $87 million deal. I think, I don't know what the guaranteed money is off the top of my head, but I think the first 2 years are guaranteed, and then after that they have an option. And the same thing with Quan Alexander. The way that they're playing right now, if they can stay healthy, then they would be worth the contracts that they have been given for the 49ers. Quan, I think it's a 5-year, $56 million deal, one of the highest paid linebackers in the NFL, but a lot of fail-safes in case he doesn't work out. But for the most part, the contracts, they've been doing a really good job, but you also got to give credit to Prag Maratse for doing all this, the president of the 49ers. Just a lot of optimistic things that I love about the draft, the contracts, free agency, everything like that. I just been all over the place in this video, but I just love talking about 49er football for whatever reason. I've been doing it for the past couple of years. Never stop talking about them unless they fold as a team, but that's not going to be happening anytime soon. So, yep, the draft, it's coming up this week. I'll be talking about this week about top prospects for the 49ers one last time, final predictions, bold predictions, just anything like that. And then I'll have videos out talking about which players got drafted by the 49ers from rounds 1 through 7. So, yep, that's pretty much it. You guys, please let me know what you guys think about the draft. Are you guys excited for this? I like to hear what you guys have to say in the comments below. If you guys like this, please like and subscribe. That definitely helps me out a lot. I'll be catching you guys up probably tomorrow on a Tuesday. I'll see y'all then. Bye, guys. Love y'all. Y'all have a great rest of your night. Go Niners all day. Hot boys. Let's go, Quan.